We're back at it for another exciting week of local television entertainment, local television information, and just plain local TV. How are you? It is Monday. It's second day of March 2020. We have arrived at a new month. In fact, when we begin our weather forecast, we'll wrap up February from Mother Nature's perspective. As you might imagine, if it felt warmer and drier than your normal February, it was. We'll show you some interesting statistics from the National Weather Service. We'll have your complete forecast. The big story most of this week is going to be the wind. Temperature is going to be at or above normal, but it's going to be kind of breezy at times. March is a traditionally windy month for us here in north central Washington. We'll touch on your weather forecast. We got your latest news headlines. Lots of highlights. Wenatchee Wild split their weekend series with the Vernon Vipers at the Town Toyota Center in the first round of the Fred Page Cup playoffs. So we know they'll play at least 5 games, which means at least one more game back here in the big city. We got Wild highlights from Saturday and Sunday, plus highlights from a good Saturday for Cashmere High School, both the boys and the girls who had already punched their ticket to state anyway. They played a couple of seeding games at Wenatchee High School over the weekend, Saturday night specifically. Our cameras were there. We got highlights of that when we get to sports coming up in just a few minutes. Plus we have everything else you're used to, the obscure holiday. Got some celebrity birthdays, got today in history. Mike McNally's got an opinion you might be interested in, and our friend Pete Phillips from the North Central Educational Services District talking about the big STEM Summit, which is coming up in August. You think August, that's so long ago, but it's amazing how time flies. I mean, here we are. It's a new month. Hope you enjoyed your bonus day on Saturday the 29th. I know I did. Anyway, 2 minutes after the hour, let's take you around the valley with our Valley View cameras, courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi High-Speed Wireless. Sun came up at 6:38 this morning. It's up as we speak. It'll be hanging around until 5:48 tonight. That means 11 hours and 10 minutes of daylight. We're gaining about 90 seconds of daylight per day. And of course, daylight saving time kicks in early Sunday morning. Don't get me started on daylight saving time. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley proper. Good to have you on board with a few high clouds. It is a little breezy out there right now, and it will be breezy for the next 3 or 4 days. The mountain passes, by the way, still winter up there. It's still winter everywhere, but the mountain passes, they're going to get some snow today. Good morning to the valley proper. From this point forward, of course, Megan, my producer, gets his choose, and that's looking to me like the Manson water tower. I got that. Well, we haven't used that one in a long time. The Manson water tower is actually 2 cameras on 2 water towers that are fairly close to each other, just a few hundred yards apart. I've been up to that Sky-Fi site, and a lot of folks in the greater Manson area use Sky-Fi in that area. In fact, folks across the lake on the south shore of Lake Chelan use the Manson water tower. Again, it's all about line of sight. Beautiful view there. Good morning to our friends in Manson as the orchards just sit there and wait for spring. Camera number 3. Hey, boy, she threw, is that Monument? That's Monument Hill, but I didn't recognize that right off the top. Because, yeah, Quincy's gone, according to Megan. Now, I drove through Quincy 3 days ago, and trust me, it's still there. She just moved the camera on me. Clockham Ridge way off in the distance. By the way, speaking of Clockham Ridge, all the golf courses are open. I love it. Highlander opened last week. Rock Island's been open for quite some time. Three Lakes is now open. Maybe just a couple of golf courses not quite ready to open up yet, but a good early start to the golf season. Now, remember, last year at this time, it was cold, it was snowy. It's amazing how the difference between the 2 Februarys were, between February 2019 and the February that just ended up in our rearview mirror. Good morning to Quincy. Camera number 4. It is off to, it's either Upper Butte or Bear Mountain. That's the Upper Butte camera. Thank you very much. We have an Upper Butte camera above Chelan and a Lower Butte camera above Chelan. As you can tell, that's pointing up Lake Chelan. Still quite a bit of snow up there. This is a great time of the year to visit Chelan. It's not all between Memorial Day and Labor Day. No, this is a good time to go up there and enjoy the peace and quiet and solitude of Lake Chelan. We say good morning to our friends at the Upper Butte. That's amazing, because usually that camera's moving around a little bit. Upper Butte is susceptible to high winds, but it doesn't look like it's windy at all up in the Chelan area. So that concludes our tour around north central Washington. 5 minutes after the hour on this Monday, the second day of March. Got some slides to show for you. As I told you at the start of the show, February, pretty quiet, all things considered. As you can see, it was a drier and warmer than normal February. Our average temperature, that's the daily high and the daily low averaged out, and then they do it for the entire month, 37.9. That's a little over 3 degrees above normal, and very little precipitation, just 0.10 inches of precipitation. That's a combination of snow and rain. So yeah, it was warmer than normal and drier than normal for most of eastern Washington. A far cry from February of last year. The big story going to be the wind. It's going to be breezy today, especially for the Wenatchee Valley and the Waterville Plateau. Columbia Basin, you're going to get some rogue gusts as well. It's going to be windy again into Tuesday, and then probably the windiest day, Tuesday night into Wednesday. It's going to be quite breezy as the jet stream is now settled down right over the Pacific Northwest. Usually it goes up and above British Columbia and then drops back down into western Montana. Not the case. The jet stream is right over us, which is why we have the windy conditions, but fairly mild. And finally, the mountain passes are going to get some snow. Quite a bit of snow. 4 to 8 inches expected in Stevens Pass today. Not quite as much of Snoqualmie Pass. And they're going to have some snow, intermittent snow, in the mountain passes pretty much today all the way through Wednesday. And then it dries out Thursday and Friday before the snow returns. So it'll be winter driving conditions in the Cascades. Not going to be able to avoid that. So thank you to the National Weather Service for providing those graphics to us. Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They give your home a big old hug. There comes the van. There you go. Say hi to Matt and the crew. They're good folks at Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. So the next few days, the big story going to be the wind. Kind of breezy today. We'll top off at about 54 degrees. Mixture of clouds and sun. Wind to be out of the west about 7 to 14 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, 39 for the overnight low. That's pretty mild. Wind out of the west about 6 to 9 miles an hour. It's 39 degrees right now outside of our studios. Tuesday, lots of sunshine, little bit of light rain possible late in the afternoon as that next system rolls in. We'll top off at 58 degrees. Again, sunshine, but windy on Tuesday. Tuesday night, the winds will be picking up in intensity. Under partly cloudy skies, we'll get down to 37. The windiest day, without question, is going to be Wednesday. Lots of sunshine, temperatures above normal, 54. It's very mild. But batten down the hatches. It's going to be, I'm going to call it windy. Wind northwest about 18 to 22 miles an hour. We could see gusts above 30 at times. On Wednesday, most of that on Wednesday morning, not so much in the afternoon. And for the balance of the work week, lots of clouds Thursday, high of 53. Lots of clouds Friday, high of about 55, just in time for the weekend. Sunshine Saturday and a high of 52, partly cloudy on Sunday. And a high of 52. And again, the jet stream is right over us, which is why we're going to have the wind and kind of a mixed bag weather-wise. Let's take you up to the major mountain passes. Winter driving conditions, you're going to find that. Kind of foggy, kind of cloudy, kind of gloppy there on I-90. Traction tires are advised. Roadway is bare and wet with some slush in places. The big problem, as you might imagine, is Stevens. Stevens is about 1,000 feet higher in elevation than Snoqualmie Pass is. So you're going to be dealing with some compact snow and ice on the roadway. It's snowing. It's not snowing real hard on Stevens Pass, but there is some strong gusty winds. If you drive a high-profile rig, you're going to be buffered around with the winds. Traction tires are advised on Stevens Pass. No advisories, no restrictions. On Blewett, the roadway is bare and dry with some frost and ice in places and just a few scattered clouds. So we do have a traction tire advisory on Stevens, advisory on Snoqualmie, nothing up and running on Blewett Pass. The forecast for the mountain passes today, 2 to 4 inches possible, depending on the elevation. A couple of inches on I-90, upwards of 4 inches possible on Stevens Pass. 1 to 3 inches tonight, 1 to 2 inches on Tuesday, 3 to 7 inches on Tuesday night. Tuesday night's going to be the wettest and most difficult driving conditions, anywhere from 3 to 7 inches of snow expected Tuesday night. It dies down Wednesday, should be dry for the rest of the work week before the snow picks up in intensity just in time for the weekend. That's your weather, that's your past report. 9 minutes after the hour, going to take a break and come back with your Monday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We're broadcasting live this morning from Studio 8 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life Channel.
My name is Lacey Haggerty, and I'm a nurse midwife with Columbia Valley Community Health. I love all aspects of my job because it is a profession that's very committed to empowering women to make decisions in their health care that feel best for them. It's incredibly valuable to me as a midwife that I get to take care of women throughout their whole lifespan. I hope to see you at a future visit because I know you'll love having midwifery care.
The two hottest pickups in America are at Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. First, the Ram 1500 with back-to-back Truck of the Year awards from Motor Trend, and now the Car and Driver 10 Best list for 2020. They call it a luxury sedan with pickup capabilities. Ram is on a roll now with third-generation EcoDiesel power. Next up, the Jeep Gladiator, also a 2020 10 Best model based on the new award-winning Jeep Wrangler. It has options and capabilities that no other truck can offer. Two more reasons when it comes to buying a truck: there's no reason to leave town.
11 minutes after the hour on this Monday, we have mostly clear skies and 39 degrees. Lots of sunshine today. Highs will be in the mid-50s. We'll be in the upper 50s tomorrow and Wednesday, but pretty consistent breezy conditions today, tomorrow, and Wednesday before we calm down wind-wise and cloud up sky-wise. Here's what's making headlines on this Monday. A bill in the state legislature that would make sex education mandatory for all students in Washington state moved a step closer to becoming law. Last week, our very own Cal Fitzsimmons filed this report.
A controversial bill to require sex education for all students, kindergarten through 12th grade in Washington state, was narrowly approved by the House Education Committee on Thursday. Republican committee members Mike Steele of Chelan and Alex Ybarra of Quincy voted against the bill, which passed by a 9-8 vote. It now goes to the full House. Senate Bill 5395 already has been approved in the Senate, but the House Education Committee added 2 amendments, meaning if approved in the House, the differences will need to be worked out with the Senate. 12th District Senator Brad Hawkins voted against the bill in the Senate, but did get an amendment passed that would allow parents to opt their children out of the classes. He also held an online poll that showed people in his district strongly opposed mandatory K-12 sex education. The House Education Committee rejected 9 other amendments, including several supported by Steele and Ybarra. One of those was to remove kindergarten through 6th graders from the instruction.
I believe this amendment that we're offering does in fact reaffirm that we are teaching those things in these younger grades. And we've heard from parents, again, all over the state that said, we're not necessarily against teaching our students, giving our students the tools they need to be successful and to be able to navigate adult life, but let's wait until they're mature enough and old enough to receive that information in a way that makes sense for them. And I think that that's simply what this amendment says. You know, if you're in kindergarten, you have things you need to learn about being a good human, being a compassionate human, learning not to bully folks. Those are all things that we should be spending our time on. So this amendment simply says we're going to unwrap comprehensive sexual education from grades K through 6. Makes a lot of sense, and I think you'll have a lot more support from parents all over the state and members of this committee if we can make this amendment stick. So I urge a yes vote.
Another rejected amendment would have required parents opt their children in for the instruction. Several legislators, including Steele and Ybarra, said that would lead to more engaged parents.
I think this is a great idea. As a school board member for 8 years in my hometown, I've always wanted the parents to know more about what we do at the school district, what we teach, what all the rules are. And if you do opt in, as a parent, I would think that you'd want to know what you're opting into. And so that would make certain parents need to learn about what their kids are being taught. So if you opt in, the parents are going to have to learn what they're opting into. And again, they'll know more, and they'll know what their kids are going to be taught. So I think the opt-in idea is wonderful.
This is Cal Fitzsimmons reporting for NCW Life.
Thank you, Cal, for that report. A Lake Chelan business leader has stepped forward to run for an open seat on the Chelan County Board of Commissioners. Tiffany Gehring is the Chief Operating Officer of the Lake Chelan Chamber of Commerce, and she says she'll seek to replace Doug England, who's going to be retiring, representing County District 3. He's been there since 2008. Gehring is a Brewster native. She works alongside State Representative Mike Steele, who is the Chamber's Executive Director. She says she hopes to help the county find solutions on issues like land use, tourism, and mental health. 3 Wenatchee residents are accused of illegally hunting black bear using bait to lure the animals. State Fish and Wildlife officers arrested 60-year-old John L. Markle back in August of last year for allegedly guiding 40-year-old Aaron McCabe to a site he baited to attract bear. This was up Number 2 Canyon. Investigators say Markle stuffed a plastic barrel with 60 pounds of donuts and bread, and McCabe shot and killed a bear that was drawn to the bait. Prosecutors filed charges last month. Now, the offense is a gross misdemeanor. Both men must appear in Chelan County District Court later this month. A third man, Logan Franklin, who's 34 years old, also charged after videos and text messages allegedly showed him adding bait to the barrel. Now, wildlife agents say Markle hasn't held a hunting license in 8 years, but continued to shoot wildlife on his property. He previously pled guilty to poaching a deer back in 2012. By the way, the bear meat that was seized during the investigation was donated to charity. Well, the presidential primary ballot in Washington state is either confusing a lot of people, or people are protesting the requirement that you have to pick a political party. Either way, as of Friday morning, 22,950 ballots have been rejected statewide because a party preference was not selected on the ballot's return envelope. Now, that's out of 572,131 ballots that have been cast so far. In Chelan County, 284 out of 7,594 ballots returned so far have been rejected because a political party was not selected. Of course, voters have until 1 week from tomorrow, March 10th, to get their ballots in. Newly elected Leavenworth Mayor Carl Florea says he's hoping to find answers to the city's parking problems from data collected from smart parking meters. The City Council has approved the use of such meters as part of an ongoing traffic study.
Every one of those parking spaces will have a sensor. We'll know exactly how long people are parking in them. We can set those, we will put a limit. We're talking about a 3-hour limit, because that's what we found is the typical time that people would spend at one time doing shopping or visiting, the downtown. If they're going to stay longer, you can go to the surface lots, the big lots. But if you want to park right downtown in the middle of, the action, so to speak, we put some limits on that. And then we'll really find out what our parking needs are. So.
Right. Is there a possibility that you might be able to develop some kind of a shuttle service with
Shuttle
outside
services,
parking? And
yep, shuttle services are a consideration. The other thing, we hear all the time from locals, we don't even bother going downtown because we can't park.
Right.
Well, one of the possibilities that these smart meters will allow us to do is, potentially give some parking away to locals, allow them to go down and use them, because you can use, basically they have smart cards that you can use on these meters.
Okay.
So,
If you're a local, that's
so if you're a local, we can look at times and places where you will have access.
Mayor Florea says parking and traffic congestion are products of the city's growth as a tourist town. He says he senses a new atmosphere of public involvement in future land use decisions, and cites specifically the response to plans to build an adventure park on the west end of Leavenworth.
We've been operating with is just anything and everything. It just felt like someone else was in control of that. And the residents just, now realize, we've got to take control, but we've got to get involved to do that. We can't just sit back and wait for things to happen.
no.
So we're doing that process. Our planning commission now is going to be looking at all those zonings to make sure that we don't just allow, even as conditional uses, things that we don't want, So instead of, we need to get proactive. We can't just wait until there's a project that's already planned, because, as we find out, if we have that opening and allow it, even, with our conditional use process, it's really tough to say no.
And that interview with the mayor of Leavenworth, conducted by our special news correspondent Steve Hare, is available for you to watch in its entirety. It's In Focus with Steve Hare, and you can watch it on our website. And that's what's making headlines on this Monday morning. The news team will be back at it to gather the news and disseminate the news. So we'll have a newscast for you tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. And with the preview, here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good Monday morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, I'll have a complete look at your North Central Washington weather for the week ahead. And Eric Grandstrom will have a ton of basketball results from games held over the weekend. That and all the day's news coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
And Grant means ton, literally, because I took all the highlights that Eric's put together for sports, and we weighed it, and it weighs over 2,000 pounds. That's a lot of highlights. Look at the bottom of your screen. That's all the ways you can get a hold of us, and boy, do you like to get a hold of us. Go to our Facebook page, drop us a line via Facebook Messenger. You can fill out the form on the Contact Us icon at the top of our website at ncwlife.com. You can pick up the phone and give us a call, or you can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com. Wenatchee Wild highlights, Cashmere boys basketball highlights, Cashmere girls basketball highlights, everything you need to know from the ever-widening world of sports over the weekend is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live from Studio 9 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
It's our fabulous clearance time at Collins in downtown Wenatchee. Savings up to 75% off. It's our famous buy one, get one free sale. That's right, buy one clothing sale item and get the next one of equal or lesser value free. Brands like Tribal, French dressing, Rib Top, Icelandic, jackets, vests, tops, jeans, and dresses. We have boots at 50% off, select Brighton and Lotus 50% off, handbags and jewelry. Come in ASAP for the best selection at Collins, where fun meets fashion in downtown Wenatchee.
Badger Mountain Brewing is proud to announce the grand opening of our new kitchen. Come try out our new menu featuring fabulous steaks, prime rib, gourmet burgers, and seafood grilled up by experienced meat master Chef Galen Goodman. To complement your mouth-watering meal, Badger Mountain Brewing features 14 in-house crafted beers, an alcohol-free root beer infused with 11 different herbs and spices, 3 different ciders, and a great wine selection. Don't miss out on the best meats and the best brews down at Badger Mountain Brewing, located at 1 Orondo Avenue across the tracks from the Pybus Market.
22 minutes after the hour on this Monday, let's talk about sports. The Wenatchee Wild and the Vernon Vipers split the first 2 games at the BCHL playoffs, round number 1 at the Town Toyota Center. Vernon came out Saturday, handed Wenatchee its first ever playoff shutout on home ice. The final was 3-0. Art Jecker had the call on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
Sent down low, Cash has it, tries to walk out of the corner, dances out front, shot and a save made, rebound, and it's swept home. The Wild had 3 players around it and somehow failed to clear it, and Connor Sleeth was able to just tap it in. Back to Merritt, sent across, shot, save, rebound, score. Ryan Shostak with the easy sweep home of the rebound as they worked it around the perimeter, got it up high. Big powerful shot through traffic, which Chenard turned aside easily enough, but the rebound fell off to his left. Played by Luley and then wanted to get it ahead for Chorsky, but Connor Merritt looped through and came up with it. He's in his shot and he scores. And the final few seconds are going to run off the clock, and the Vernon Vipers are going to be able to do something that just doesn't happen a whole lot here, and that's shut out the Wenatchee Wild here on their home ice.
That was Saturday. Sunday, a different story altogether. The Wenatchee Wild came out with fire in their eyes. They scored 2 goals in the second. They hung on for the 2-1 victory. Once again, Art Checker with the call from last night on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
Cash carries it back in, but stolen away from him by Adams. Adams with Morton breaking. Adams in, he shoots, he scores! Brian Adams with a shorthanded goal. And the Wild lead it 1-0. Chmielewski crossing feed to Maine. He shoots, and a save made there. Alive back behind the net. Ethan Wolders with it. Wolders cycling, comes up along the near side. Shot, he scores! Ethan Wolders put it right through the wickets. He moves it over to Kowalski and then head on the near side for McDonald. Crossing feed, far side, shot and a score. Holt looking for a lane. Morton standing in his way. Shot, threaded through in front. Backhander, save made, rebound, swept into the corner. Wild pick it up, can't clear. Held in Kowalski at the point. He winds, he shoots, it's blocked by Morton. And the Wild hang on to win 2-1. Sammy Morton ate that puck like he hadn't had nothing to eat in a month and a half. A game-saving, potential game-saving shot block at the buzzer. Sam Morton paying the price, laying out, sacrificing the body.
That's got it smart, but nicely done, Sam. So the series now shifts. Game 3 and 4 will be in Vernon tomorrow, and Wednesday, Game 5 right back here in the big city Friday. You can get your tickets for Game 5 at the Town Toyota Center. A rough weekend for some of our teams anyway, in the North Central Washington area. In regional high school playoff basketball, let's talk with the boys. The 2B Regional Friday, Wenatchee High School, Life Christian beating Brewster 78-65. The Bears head to Spokane. They'll take on Kettle Falls on Wednesday. Elmira Cooley Heartline won their Regional 1B game Friday, 55-51 over Sunnyside Christian. They'll take on Rainier Christian in the first round of state in Spokane on Wednesday. Seattle Academy dispatched OMAC Saturday, 72-53, so the Pioneers will play LaSalle in the first round of state. That's Wednesday In Yakima, Kashmir exacted a little revenge on the team that knocked them out of the state tournament last year. They beat Kingsway Christian Saturday afternoon. The final was 56-50. Eric Granstrom had the call right here on the NCW Life channel.
Sam Phillips gives to Reed Smith. Reed bounce pass off to Carter Alberts. Going to raise the two-pointer. Good. Carter from outside. Sam Phillips cut off at the elbow. Found help from Reed Smith. Down to the quarter it goes to Alberts. Here's a long three-pointer. Good. Carter Alberts, 2 buckets in a row to start the fourth quarter. He's got 12. If you missed it earlier. Here's a three-pointer by Sam Phillips. It's short. Rebound. How about Alberts? Reverse layup is good. And a timeout going to be taken by David Harmeling. The lead back at 9, 43-34. Drive. Cut off. Metz three-pointer. Good. Nothing but net. Splash down for Bryson Metz. Every point counts. Kashmir up by 5. Here's a drive by Metz. We're going to get a foul first. They're not going to count the bucket, are they? Yes, they are. Sam to Alberts. Carter raises along 2. Good. Rattles home for Carter Alberts. That rack's going to look as big as a garbage can right now for Carter Alberts. Metz with the basketball. And what do we got? Offensive foul on a moving screen called at a critical time against Fromm. Chance to cut that lead, make it a one-possession ball game. Now Kashmir with it back. Brooks Elliott double team outside for a three-pointer. Good. Nate Phillips for 3. Inbounds pass for Kashmir in front of their own bench. Sam Phillips has it. Bounce pass in. Got it into Carter Alberts. Now the ball stolen away by Metz. He's going to take coast to coast, lay it up good with 18 seconds to go. Shot, offensive rebound. They'll throw it back outside for a 3. It's off the mark, no good. Rebound tap picked up by Kashmir underneath, and the Bulldogs are going to win it here. Sam Phillips, a lot of emotion as he runs over towards the Kashmir student body, pumps his fist in the air, and Kashmir on a mission.
Kashmir advances to the quarterfinals. They'll take on the winner of Wednesday's game. That game will be between LaSalle and Omak, and they'll play Thursday at 2 o'clock. Eastmont season came to an end in the 4A Regional Saturday. They lost to Olympia, as you see there, 69-46. West Valley also a loser to Mount Si by 30. They'll have to play Skyview Wednesday at 3:45 in the Tacoma Dome. That's the boys' girls regional action on Friday. Riverside Christian fell to Clallam Bay 57-51 to have their season come to an end. Waterville Mansfield committed 23 turnovers, and they lost to Northwest Christian 45-40. The Shocker season came to an end. Okanagan also had their season come to an end with a narrow 37-35 loss to Meridian in Saturday's 1A Regional. Moses Lake advanced to the quarterfinals of the girls' 4A tournament. They beat Decatur 63-54, and the Kashmir girls remained undefeated. They're 22-0, a resounding victory over Noosac Valley. Haley Van Lith led the way with 32 points. Once again, Eric Granstrom with the call right here on the NCW Life channel.
To Erdman. Grace on the drive. She'll pass it off to Riley Johnson. Cross court it goes to Hammond. Hammond. Cross court to Erdman for a three-pointer. Good. Now to Johnson. She'll raise the three-pointer. Two-pointer, excuse me. No good. Rebound picked up Brown. Here's to Van Lith for 3. Good. Defense comes out on her, and the ball stolen away by Riley Johnson. Riley's going to take it coast to coast. Lay it up with the right hand. Good. Cuts a string there for Kashmir. Van Lith works off the pick from Brown. Three-pointer. No, they're going to say it 2. She towed the line. A two-pointer for Van Lith. 18-5 the score. Comes even further out to Allie Ball. Sorry, Allie, for not getting you right in the first half. Here's Haley Van Lith for 3. Good. Van Lith, 9 points in the second half. 28 to the ball game. She's got all 9 of Kashmir's points here in the third quarter. Ball's loose on the floor, and Nooksack Valley, give them credit. They're not giving up until the last horn sounds. Now the shot. No, they're not going to get a shot at the buzzer. It will be Kashmir moving on to the quarterfinals after a 61-26 victory over the Nooksack Valley Pioneers tonight.
Haley finishes with 32 tonight, and a huge crowd on hand again. I know she likes to perform in front of big crowds like this, and I think it's a nice sentiment for the crowd to come here, and they know this is the last time they're ever going to see her play here in North Central Washington.
Yeah, you know, she's played in a lot of big games and a lot of big crowds over the years, and you understand why people enjoy watching her play so much and why we've had the success that we've had. And But they're going to get a chance to watch her play some more. I'm sure a lot of these people will be at state supporting us and watching us. So not done yet. We still got some basketball to be played. But yeah, it was a pretty fitting night. She had a good game. Teammates had a good game, and glad we won that and can move on.
Cashmere will take on the winner of Wednesday's game between Meridian and Andy Wright. That game, Cashmere's, will be Thursday at 5:30. And yep, we're going to have that game for you live right here on the NCW Live channel, courtesy of a feed from the NFHS network. Quick rundown of women's college basketball. Your scores from over the weekend. Washington and Washington State both got creamed by the Oregon schools on Friday. Number 11 Gonzaga took care of Portland on Saturday. Northern Colorado knocking off Eastern Washington. Central Washington qualified for the GNAC championship with a nice victory over Seattle Pacific. The Wildcats will take on Simon Fraser in the quarterfinals. Number 3 Oregon beating Washington Sunday. Number 17 Oregon State down Washington State. Men's side on Friday. Washington State edged Washington in Seattle. Number 3 Gonzaga knocking off St. Mary's. Eastern Washington edged Northern Colorado, and Seattle Pacific ended Central Washington's season 63-56. And finally, baseball. The Mariners saw their Cactus League record fall to 3-6. They lost to the Cubs on Sunday. The final was 7-3. Daniel Vogelbach and Braden Bishop each contributed an RBI offensively. Kendall Graveman looked good on the mound from the start. He went 2 innings. He allowed no runs, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. Seattle is back home in Peoria today to take on the Colorado Rockies. Just 24 more days until the start of the baseball season. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Monday at 32 minutes after the hour. On the obscure holiday, I'm trying to wean myself off food-related obscure holidays. If you watch the show, you know it always seems to be a food-related obscure holiday, but I can't pass by National Banana Cream Pie Day. I mean, come on. It's banana cream pie. Is there anybody out there who doesn't like banana cream pies? Oh, yeah. It used to be a custard pie, and they said, wait a minute, what if we take the custard out and put bananas in? Whip it up with some cream. We got something going here. And, of course, you can legitimize eating banana cream pie because bananas have lots of potassium. Banana cream pie. Oh, that looks so good right now. I know it's a food-related holiday, but I don't care. I love it. 32 minutes after the hour. Today in history, this is the 87th anniversary of the release of King Kong, one of the most influential movies ever made. March 2nd, 1933, at a Radio City Music Hall in New York City, King Kong made his world premiere. It would have won all of the Oscars for special effects back then, except they didn't hand out Oscars for special effects. It was the very first major motion picture ever to have its very own soundtrack, its very own score written specifically for the movie, and it's still a classic. It still holds up all these years. King Kong. You could go to the theaters and watch it if you wanted it. 87 years ago today, provided you lived in New York. 58 years ago today, Wilt Chamberlain of the Philadelphia 76ers set the all-time record, may never be broken. He scored 100 points. He scored 23 points in the first period, 18 in the second, 28 in the third, 31 in the fourth period. The game was not televised. No video footage exists. Very few audio recordings of just the fourth quarter. And even though he played for the Philadelphia 76ers, the game was held in Hershey, Pennsylvania, in front of a gym that had about half capacity. Nobody really knew. It was a very low-key thing. But, I mean, 100 points in a game? Way to go, Wilt. Happened on this date 58 years ago today. And happy 37th birthday to the CD here in the United States. Compact discs were available in Japan for a number of years, but compact discs and compact disc players were released for the very first time in the United States on this date, March 2nd, 1983. I still have the first CD player I ever bought. I figured it'll be a museum piece one of these days. I bought the CD player. It was very expensive. Brought it home, hooked it up to my stereo system, and I realized I bought a CD player. I forgot to buy a CD. I had to go back down to the store and pick up a couple compact discs. Born in this state, here in the States. And finally, at 34 minutes after the hour, let's do some birthdays for you. Theodore Seuss Ted Geisel, Dr. Seuss, born in the state of 1904. We lost the good doctor back in 1991 at the age of 87. And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street, If I Ran the Zoo, If I Ran the Circus, Horton Hears a Who, The Cat in the Hat, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Green Eggs and Ham. The man's a legend, the great Dr. Seuss. Still, it's good reading for adults still. Dr. Seuss was born in the state of 1904. Desi Arnaz will always be known as Ricky Ricardo on I Love Lucy. Of course, he was married to Lucille Ball in real life. CBS did not want Ricky Ricardo to play Lucille Ball's fictional husband. Lucille Ball said, we are a team, we're a couple, and if we're going to do a show called I Love Lucy, my real-life husband's going to be my fictional husband, and they said, okay. Desi Arnaz, born and state in 1917. John Cullum is best known as a Broadway actor. He's a 2-time Tony Award winner, but for those of you who watch television at all in the early to mid-90s, you'll always remember him as Holling Vincourt, the bartender and the bar owner. Northern Exposure, John Cullum, a great actor, is 90 years old today. And the 8th and last leader of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev, is 89 years old today. Going to take a break. Got an opinion from Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and then Pete Phillips will be joining me. We're going to talk a little high school basketball, but mostly we're talking about the big STEM Summit coming up here in the Wenatchee Valley with Pete Phillips from the NCESD. That's coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
My name is Brian Thorpe. I own Global Car Care in Wenatchee and have been here for about 25 years.
Brian started Global Car Care as Brian's automotive alternative on Orondo Street.
Some customers were following Brian since Brian's automotive time.
No, we're just grateful to be part of this community. This is where I grew up. We want to do our part to be a valuable part of this community. We want to thank you for trusting our business for 25 years.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
What is it to be a volunteer firefighter? Is it the gear, the training, the vehicles you learn to drive, the honor of protecting your community? Time, energy, sweat, sometimes blood and even tears. Every call may not be a victory. Sometimes you'll walk away wondering if you helped at all. But sometimes you will be a hero.
How do you know when it's time to go to Boswell's Furniture? When you know the look you love, the colors you want, but need a little design help to bring it all together. With Boswell's complimentary design service, Glenn, Buffy, and Teresa guide you until your vision becomes reality. More styles, more fabrics, and more choices of quality home furnishings fill Boswell's expansive 2-story showroom so you can see it and feel it before you buy. Come into Boswell's and explore the endless possibilities of home furnishings. Boswell's on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. So, when I go into a retail store, I choose my items that I want to purchase. I bring them to the checkout stand, prepared to pay. And lo and behold, there at the cash register is a tip jar. A tip jar? What am I tipping this employee for? For taking my money and accurately reading what the cash register says my change is? Now, tipping is getting way out of hands, folks. I can and do understand tipping food service folks, and I regularly tip 20% or more. I really do. And I tip cab and Uber drivers and folks who deliver food to my house. I also tip baristas because, honestly, my daughter used to be one. But a tip jar at a retail establishment? I can just imagine the next time I go into my local hardware store, pick up my light bulbs and a screwdriver that I need, and when I go to pay, there's gonna be a tip jar on the counter. Sorry, ain't gonna have none of my money in it. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
AC Checker has new owners who put customer service first. When you have to get there on time, call fast, friendly, reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. AC Checker has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee. Conditions apply. Call AC Checker, 663-TAXI to schedule your cab or schedule online at acchecker.com. Call American Classic Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu, because we work to get you to work.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow. We have live bands to rock the night away, comedy to make you laugh, and if that's not enough, we have poker every Monday and Wednesday night. Club Crow in Cashmere has it all. Check out our Facebook event page for dates and times. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. Pete Phillips to my immediate left has been on this program many, many times. He is the Executive Director of Technology for the North Central Educational Services District. He's here to talk about the big STEM Summit coming up later on in the year, specifically August 12th, 11th, and 13th. But Pete, since you're here, thought we'd talk a little high school hoops before we get going.
All right.
Because you've it's been a good winter in the Phillips household for basketball, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. It's been very fun.
You're
fun
a proud
to watch this
papa,
team.
aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Fun to watch these kids, and they've been playing good, playing great team basketball, and so I just want to keep it going this time of year. All the opponents are tough. There's no gimmies, and so you show up, play your best game, and roll the dice. See what happens.
The athleticism that obviously is part of the Phillips family. Is that your side of the family or your wife's side?
Well, between me and you, yes.
Yeah.
Of course, it's my side. Right. But I think everyone knows the truth. So we're just proud of the boys, proud of the team.
Yeah.
They're having fun. Put a lot of time in as the kids do in all sports these days, and so reaping some of those benefits, which is great. And so got a tough game this Saturday, playing at Wenatchee, and we'll give it our best shot.
But you're on to state anyway, win or lose, and that's
right.
the cool thing. You'll be in Yakima
bracket.
next week. And congratulations, only a junior, but CTL Player of the Year.
Yeah. Sam's had a great year and got some credit for that, and so good for him.
What does Sam get? Is it a trophy, a certificate? What do you for CTL Player of the Year?
You know,
gift certificate to Olive Garden or
nothing
something?
right now.
Recognition?
a lot of congratulations, and I'm sure there's something that they'll get at the awards ceremony. But great award.
Are the
him.
kids naturally competitive? I mean, as far as I'm talking about your family, of course.
Yeah.
Do they always?
Yeah,
they that way.
Oh yeah, they're competitive, and Nate and Sam being twins, they're pretty tight, pretty close, and but they still know what button to push to get the other one going.
Well, they always get one-on-one. The hoop and everything. There's always somebody to play with, and that's
Absolutely.
cool. That's really neat.
Yeah.
So anyway, go Bulldogs! Yes, go
Yeah.
Bulldogs.
Yep.
How you doing, Pete?
Doing good.
Let's talk about the STEM Summit.
Yeah, so this is our 4th annual STEM Summit. Coming up. The dates are actually August 11, 12, and 13. So it's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll be at the Wenatchee Convention Center again, like we have been for the last 3 years. And we're looking to do bigger and better, and as this thing grows. So it's going to be a fun week.
I saw a fascinating article on they're recruiting some new astronauts for NASA, and they're whittling it down to from like 16,000 applicants to like 6 who are actually going to be eventually going into space. And they asked one of the astronauts who have been there before and is qualified, what do you need to do? He says you got to be really good in science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like he was like a press release.
Right.
Yeah, he goes, if you're good at those 4 things, or at least proficient in those 4 things, you're going to go places in this world.
Yeah.
There's no turning back from STEM now, is it? It's the Rubicon has been crossed,
It
right?
is where we're headed, where we need to be. It's that link for we're going from school to work, which is really what our big push is preparing these students for the world of work, whether that's after college or right out of high school or wherever they're going to be. You can't get away from having the skills of science, technology, engineering, and math, for sure.
For the teachers who'll be attending the STEM Summit, do you get any kind of brushback from teachers who've been teaching for all these years, and they just they're not anti-STEM, but they're just kind of want to step back a little bit because maybe they don't understand it, or because they've been teaching for so long, sometimes they this is their comfort zone. You got to be in, don't you? I mean,
well, actually, I would say not at all.
Okay.
Really, teachers are there for a reason. They have the student's best interest in mind, and we can see where our world is going. Technology is embedded in everything we do, and with technology, whether that's computer science or robotics or drones, in today's world, whether it's agriculture or healthcare, STEM is where it's at. And so everyone really comes from their classroom wanting to know, how can I get more STEM into my history class, into my English class, into my PE classes? Yep, how do we integrate
well, let's
this?
use this as an example. People think, how can a STEM education affect agriculture, for instance? Isn't agriculture trimming trees and growing cherries and
Yeah.
harvesting and driving a tractor and all that stuff? But
Yeah.
they go hand in hand, don't they? Give me an example.
Absolutely, and it is all of that. Except those farmers are they're doing it all. They are trimming those trees, but they're also applying chemicals. They're also watching the weather. They're trying to figure out when to do certain things in the crop. But as we move out of the orchard, which is becoming highly technical with robotics and drones and the ways that they monitor their orchard, as that moves into the packing shed, if you haven't been in there lately, you should try to get into a Stamilt and see what is happening with technology. It's completely mechanized, right? And it's more than just conveyor belts and rollers and bins stacking up and down, but computers are running the show and controlling how those apples get sorted and packaged and shipped and inventoried, and so it's highly technical.
Somebody wrote the code,
Yep.
somebody built the hardware,
Yep.
somebody created the software. It didn't come out of thin air.
Yep, we hear all the time what these agricultural, what they need is folks to run the computers inside the plant.
Absolutely.
They can't find them.
And I got friends who are orchardists who can turn on their wind machines with their smartphone.
Yep.
Or they can even have it done automatically. If
Right.
it's a certain temperature and a certain relative humidity,
Right.
goes on automatically. Don't have to get up at dark 30 and go out and turn them on.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
How cool is that?
yeah, it is. And of course, it makes orchards more profitable. They yield a bigger crop. They yield a better crop.
Yep.
People can get real particular about their apples and their peaches and their stuff like
sure.
that. So that's a
Yeah.
perfect example of how STEM, you wouldn't think STEM and agriculture would go hand in hand, but they're inseparable.
Yes.
They're inseparable.
Yeah.
So any kind of teacher is going to get something out of this, regardless of your level of teaching or your certain skill set. If you go to the STEM Summit come August as a professional educator, you're going to take something out of it?
Absolutely. This is for K-12 educators as well as administrators. We have over 60 workshops in the 3 days. We're expecting around 400 educators to be on site throughout the 3 days. And those 60 sessions range from anything. We've got science kits. We've got drones and robotics and computer science and programming. We also have technology classes on how to use Google and Microsoft and their technology in the classroom. So you name it. Yep, it's a kindergarten teacher, an English teacher, a high school teacher. We want them all.
What about future teachers? I'm talking about kids who maybe are 9th or 10th or 11th graders, but they already know, when I grow up, I want to be a teacher and I want to be ahead of the curve. Something for them in this thing?
Yeah,
That kind of deal?
absolutely. Yeah, great place for them to get continuing for clock hours and also to get credits and to just be able to start building that resume and building that repertoire and their colleagues of who they'll be working with in the classroom someday, for sure.
When potential teachers, when they graduate from high school, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a high school whatever teacher, and they go off to college to learn that. At what point do they start? I mean, right from the ground floor, they're learning STEM from the very beginning, from a teaching aspect?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's so ingrained into everything we do in the college prep programs, all the way through being able to apply to any content area, how to use technology within your history class, your English class, or how to program a computer, right? Computer science is a huge field right now with a lot of jobs that are needed in our communities, and so preparing those teachers to teach our kids is a big demand right now.
And as far as teachers themselves and STEM, and we've talked about this before, again, any teacher can get something out of going to the STEM Summit. The teacher that we've gone so far down the road in STEM now, that for teachers, I'm talking specifically about teachers, they start learning STEM from the time they were in kindergarten, first and second grade. So they're fairly proficient in it as they get farther and farther down the line, aren't they?
Yeah. It's one of our pushes as we move forward is to get STEM integrated all the way down. And so it seems a little bit harder down in the elementary level, but it's so key. By the time we get to high school, we want them to be at a certain level and a proficiency level to be able to move on, get a job, or go to school. We have to start early with the definition and the terminology and talking about technology integrated into whatever they're going to do.
What do you hear from the big corporations, the Microsofts and the Amazons and the Expedias, who are going to sit down and say, this is going to be a huge job market for this particular skill set in the year 2026?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
get them trained. What do you hear from those kind of folks?
Well, a couple things. One is we see the demand for integrating technology and being able to control a computer, right, which we call computer science or programming. So that's a need right now from those larger companies and from the smaller companies in our valley. You know, the Van Dorens and the Stemilts and Confluence are all needing those type of workers. But what we see is the other flip side of that is in 6 years, who knows what the technology is going to be, right? You can only look out so far, and then you're into generalities. And what we continue to hear is these the workers that these companies need to solve a problem. And most of the time, the problem is unknown. And so being able to come in with a fresh set of eyes to analyze and to see what the issue is, and then start to work on a solution that's never been built.
What about the average Joe Sixpack who say, I'm a systems administrator. I run the computer programs for this particular company. I've never had STEM education from a formal standpoint. I've just learned it as I get along. Can they get something out of this? Can they go and pay their fee and get something out of it?
Yeah, it's tailored for education, so it's really going to be, those workshops are going to be tailored for teaching K-12 in the classroom. Those jobs are still around. They're still hugely important. Those guys and gals are running the network behind the scenes that we don't see, that makes our phones work, make our computers work, and so definitely needed. But this is going to be tailored for educators in our school system.
Have you gotten your, one of the great things about the STEM Summit is you've gotten some phenomenal speakers. Your keynote speakers the last few years have just been mind-blowingly cool. Anything in the hopper you can tell us about now, Pete?
Yep, so we are going to kick it off on Tuesday with a guy from Pacific Northwest. His name is Jeff Utecht, and he's kind of a futurist technology expert. He's funny and he's smart, and he really paints a picture for where we need to take our kids from today into the future. So he's super engaging, and he's going to give an hour keynote Tuesday morning, and he's going to send these 400 teachers out into the STEM Summit engaged and energized and ready to learn. The other thing that we've got going on is Thursday, the last day. We're going to close it down. It's going to have a focus on early learning. We know the stats tell us that success in school really starts with how those kids come into school at the very beginning. And so we're going to have a day focused on STEM around early learning and those young little kids that are coming into the system. So that's going to be a great day as well.
What do you tell parents of a 4-year-old? My kid's going to be in kindergarten next year. He's in preschool. He's great. He's smart. He's normal. He's well-adjusted. Can I give him a little head start on STEM? Just home, stimulate the STEM brain?
Absolutely.
Does that happen?
Yeah. There are so many toys out there. I mean, Legos we grew up on. What a great project-based, right? You're building from scratch, and you're using all those tools to conceptualize and to think about building something that doesn't exist. It's in your mind. There's so many games and toys that do that, and so those are all hands-on. They're thinking, they're building, and I think most kids grow up playing with that. I think one of the problems is we get away from that, right? Yeah. Put the toys away. let's do some work. Let's do some math, or let's do something else. And we probably shouldn't. We probably should stay into that project base and that building phase a little bit longer in life.
For professional educators, a couple of things you need to know. Number one, it does go towards your CE credits, which you have to keep up anyway. And for the vast majority of the teachers who are going, it's not going to cost them a dime, isn't it? Aren't there school districts picking up the tab for a lot of these folks?
Yep. It is free for all of the NCESD STEM co-op members. So the districts are part of this co-op around STEM and science and math. And if your district is a member, completely free. Everybody can come. If you're not a member, we have a fee that they can come. It's full day, all 3 days. We've got keynotes all 3 days. We feed them, so no one will go away hungry or unsatisfied in that area anyway.
And it's also a good chance, Pete, for teachers who may not know one another, but they work in the same field, to get to know each other, compare notes, that kind of stuff. Hey, I teach science in Bridgeport, and I teach science in Moses Lake, and we've never met, and what works, what doesn't work.
Great, absolute amazing opportunity to meet new people, but also to hang out. We've got some socials planned in the afternoon each day. We have some groups that are forming that'll be meeting at the summit, so they will definitely be able to meet some new people, but also pick their brain. And so we get that a lot. When you come from a small district, you might be the only high school math teacher or the only middle school English teacher. And so it's awesome to be able to get in a room with like-minded people that teach the same thing as you do.
Again, as Pete mentioned, it's the 11th, 12th, and 13th of August. People, it's August, it's so long away. When is the actual schedule of events going to be out so the teachers can go to the website and say, I want to go to this seminar and I want to go to this lesson plan kind of a thing? When is that going to be settled?
Yeah, so we'll have a save the date that's going to go out to all of our schools, that they'll be able just to get it on the calendar and register for the event. But the schedule will be out June 1st. That's our plan. So they'll be able to see the sessions, line their day up, and really start to focus in on what they're
And what's Pete Phillips' role in all this on August 11th, 12th, and 13th? What will you be doing at the STEM Center?
Well, I will be there helping with logistics a little bit and just making sure things run smooth, but also just helping kick the sessions off, kick off the keynote, do some introductions there, and basically just help our teachers get to where they need to be so they can make the most of the summit.
I can write you some comedy jokes if you want.
I always need those.
Okay,
yes.
I'm pretty good at that. Pete Phillips, it's always good to see you. Go Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Say hi to Dr. Kane for me and the crew down there.
Will do.
And we'll see. Don't be a stranger. I'm sure you'll be back before August to.
Let's do it.
To do it and have fun in Yakima.
All right.
The gateway to
Thanks,
Wapato.
Dan.
Yes. Go Bulldogs. Pete Phillips. Everybody, give him a big hand.
Go Dogs.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled into Wenatchee. We've got fun, affordable e-bikes for the whole family. Portable e-bikes that fit right in the trunk of your car. Fat tire mountain bikes plus unique vintage style bikes you won't find anywhere else. Get some exercise with pedal assist or just cruise up to 20 miles per hour with the throttle. Starting under $1,000, Green Motion e-bikes are affordable fun for the whole family. Green Motion e-bikes is located right downtown on the corner of Palouse and Wenatchee Avenue.
Is search engine optimization right for my business? Maybe. Studies show the first and second search results get 50% of all the clicks. But you have to fight national chains to get there. If the user has to scroll down to find you, tough luck. You could hide a dead body on page 2 and the whole zombie apocalypse on page 3. Or you could spend less and get an ad in the Impact Big Print phone book, giving local businesses a chance to shine.
Impact Directories. Bigger print, better book.
And we are back. Let's go ahead and wrap up this Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with another look at your weather forecast. The big story this week, wind. The jet stream is right over the Pacific Northwest, and that means we're going to have some breezy conditions today. Also up in the Waterville Plateau, as you can see, out of the Columbia Basin and on east to Spokane. The windiest day looks to be Wednesday. We're looking at very breezy conditions on Wednesday. We're going to have consistent gusts about 18 to 22 miles an hour on Wednesday. Gusts above 30 miles an hour on Wednesday. It is March, and March is traditionally a bit of a windy month here for the Wenatchee Valley. So from the National Weather Service, one more look at your forecast. Lots of sunshine today. It's very mild. It's already 41 degrees. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we blew past that 54-degree mark. Again, lots of sunshine with just a little bit of wind. Kind of a mixture of clouds and sun, but more sun than clouds. Partly cloudy tonight, 39 for the overnight low, breezy tonight. Tuesday, lots of sunshine, again breezy, high at 58. Very windy on Wednesday, and then we calm down Thursday and Friday, but at the same time we cloud up, and not a bad looking weekend coming our way. Saturday and Sunday, February is in the books. It is March, spring comes up, daylight saving time comes up. The days are longer, the days are warmer, the golf course is opened. I have a song on my heart, but I will not sing. They don't pay me enough for that. Everybody have a great Monday. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.